We are glad to welcome you to our channel. Kindly subscribe to our channel and share our videos with your friends and relations. And click on the bell icon for instant notification whenever new videos are uploaded on this channel. Rest assured that we are going to have a very exciting and inspiring discussion. Let's dive into the lesson right away. Hello and welcome to today's lesson on the best tips for writing a great essay in the Ielts. In this video, we will explore the process of crafting a well-structured and compelling essay in response to a typical Ielts essay prompt. To illustrate these tips, we are going to also provide you with a sample essay in response to a given Ielts essay prompt. This is English Classes Online, and I am your host, Benjamin. Let's dive into the world of Ielts essay writing. Tip number 1, understanding the essay prompt. Before you start writing, of course, it is important for you to understand the essay prompt. It is really important. The first step is to thoroughly understand the prompt. Take time to break down the prompt into its components. So in this case, the prompt addresses the concept of peer pressure and asks if the disadvantages outweigh rather the advantages. So make sure you know what the prompt is asking before you start writing. So in a nutshell, before you start writing, you need to first analyze the essay prompt and then plan your writing. Let's use the following Ielts past question prompt. Young people are often influenced in their behaviors by others in the same age group. Some argue that peer pressure is important, while others feel it has distinct disadvantages. Do the disadvantages of peer pressure outweigh the advantages? So that is the question. That is the essay prompt we are going to deal with. You can see that this prompt requires you to examine both sides of the argument and provide your own perspective by answering a specific question. Do the disadvantages of peer pressure outweigh the advantages? Now, let's analyze the areas that must be covered in the essay. 1, peer pressure is important. That's one particular key point you need to address. Some people, argue that peer pressure is important, so you have to address that. Number 2, it has distinct disadvantages, all right? Because we can see that while some argue that peer pressure is important, others feel it has distinct disadvantages. Then the third area to be covered is my own view, that is the writer's view. Do you agree? Your opinion is important here. And so my view is likely to be that the disadvantages of peer pressure outweigh the advantages, okay? Outweigh the advantages. So take note, this is a typo here, okay? Outweigh the advantages, not disadvantages, okay? So that's exactly what it is. In answer to the question, do the disadvantages of peer pressure outweigh the advantages? So in my view, I am saying yes, the disadvantages of peer pressure outweigh the advantages, okay? That's exactly the way it is. And so this brings us to the next, which is tip number 2, planning your once you understand the prompt, it's time to plan your essay. Here you need to break down the essay structure and explore the key components. All right? Planning is a very important step in ensuring that you write a good essay. Essay writing is like, you know, uh, building a house, and before you start building, you need to draw a building plan. So you also need a writing plan before you start writing. Okay. Now, a well-structured essay consists of an introduction, body paragraphs, and a conclusion. Okay, that's really important. Now, tip number 3, crafting a rich introduction. We have already looked at the planning stage. It is at the planning stage that you figure out how you are going to uh, cover the 3 main parts of your essay: the introduction, the body paragraphs, and the conclusion. And then once you have planned and then uh, drawn an outline or jotted down the point that you are going to use, then you go ahead and start writing. Now, crafting a rich introduction is important because your introduction is the first aspect. The introduction serves as a roadmap for your essay. That's the first paragraph. So you need to begin by paraphrasing the prompt and stating your position. Okay, this is important. I'll show you how to paraphrase the prompt. For example, we look at the prompt now. Young people are often influenced in their behaviors by others in the same age group. This is a general statement. You are going to paraphrase it. Some argue that peer pressure is important, while others feel it has distinct disadvantages. So here you have the two sides of the argument. Do the disadvantages of peer pressure outweigh the advantages? This is the aspect that is, that demands your own opinion, whether you agree or disagree with this assertion. Now, the first thing is paraphrase the general statements. I earlier showed you the general statements here. So this is how we paraphrase. To paraphrase is, to use your own words, to turn the writer's ideas into your own words. Sometimes you just use other words and present the same idea. Now let's look at how we can do this. In today's rapidly changing world, young people often find themselves influenced by their peers. The impact of peer pressure is a topic of significant debate. You see, you are, bringing in some important ideas because in your introductory paragraph, you also need to uh, give the background information. Okay. While some argue that peer pressure plays a crucial role in shaping the behavior of the youth, others maintain that it brings more disadvantages than advantages. You see, so we have been able to paraphrase the general statement. Then the next thing is for you to give your thesis. The thesis, or thesis statement, if you like, is the main idea. That is the main idea or the viewpoint you really want to express in the entire essay. And of course, your thesis gives a direct answer to the question here. do the disadvantages of peer pressure outweigh the advantages? You must give an answer to this question in your thesis, and that shows the direction that you are going to go in writing this essay. Here is how we can do this. This essay aims to explore both sides of the argument, ultimately determining whether the disadvantages of peer pressure outweigh its advantages. Okay, so there are different ways actually to give your thesis. So this is just one of the ways. There is no single way of doing it. Okay, now this is a sample. Let's look at the introduction in full. This is what the introductory paragraph should look for, both the paraphrased general statement and the thesis. This is exactly what the introductory paragraph should look like. In today's rapidly changing world, young people often find themselves influenced by their peers. The impact of peer pressure is a topic of significant debate. While some argue that peer pressure plays a crucial role in shaping the behavior of the youth, others maintain that it brings more disadvantages than advantages. This essay aims to explore both sides of the argument, ultimately determining whether the disadvantages of peer pressure outweigh its advantages. So that is exactly the way to go. We started with a hook. The first statement gives a general idea of the subject matter, okay? Peer pressure, okay? And then we went ahead to give the background information, okay? And then we expanded, we went ahead to actually hint uh, or give a picture of the two sides. And having done that, we wrapped up this introductory paragraph with our thesis statement, okay? This is how to craft a rich introduction, because when you craft a rich introduction, it enables the reader to actually uh, give attention to the essay. The first paragraph grabs the attention of the essay of the reader, and then compels the reader to go ahead to read it, because you have shown the reader that this is a very important topic for discussion, and this will compel the reader to want to find out more about this important subject. Now, tip number 4, developing a structured argument in the body paragraphs, okay? It has to be a well-organized argument in the body paragraphs. A well-structured essay should include body paragraphs that develop and support your thesis statement. Each paragraph should focus on one main point or idea. Here is an outline of a sample essay. You know, as I earlier mentioned, at the planning stage, you should be able to create an outline. In other words, jot down the points you are going to use, you are going to discuss in the various paragraphs. And this planning aspect is what helps you to make your essay well structured, well organized. Okay, so let's look at the outline. We are to discuss first the advantages of peer pressure. One, positive social bonding, and two, personal growth and exploration. Okay, then we look at the disadvantages of peer pressure, negative influences on decision making, and then uh, well, let's negative influences on decision making, and then the next one is emotional well-being concerns. Okay, so we have looked at the advantages and then the points we are going to discuss in the aspect of the disadvantages. Now, this is a sample body paragraph. Okay, this is really the sample body paragraph, and I want you to understand really that you need to discuss one main idea in one paragraph. Now, this is the first paragraph in the body of the essay, and that is the second paragraph in the entire essay. After the introductory paragraph, then the next is the body of the essay. Peer pressure can have its advantages. Firstly, it often plays a crucial role in fostering positive social bonds. Young people are naturally drawn to their peers, seeking acceptance and validation from their age group. This desire for approval can lead to stronger friendships and a sense of belonging. Moreover, peer pressure can encourage personal growth and exploration. It pushes individuals to step out of their comfort zones and try new experiences, which can be pivotal in shaping their identities and interests. Okay, so here we have taken care of the advantages. Now, next, we look at the second paragraph, which will take care of the disadvantages. Conversely, that means on the contrary, if you like, the disadvantages of peer pressure should not be overlooked. One of the most significant drawbacks is its negative influence on decision making. Young people under the sway of their peers might make choices that they would not have otherwise, often succumbing to unhealthy habits or risky behavior. For instance, research concluded by, or you can give a source here, or you can simply say, some studies have shown that adolescents who experience strong peer pressure are more likely to engage in substance abuse even when they know the associated risks. Okay, so that is one major thing you need to understand. Okay, now tip number 5: crafting a strong conclusion. A strong conclusion should summarize your main points and restate your thesis statement. Let's create a conclusion for our sample essay. In conclusion, peer pressure as a phenomenon influencing young people has its advantages, including the formation of social bonds and personal growth. However, the disadvantages rather, notably the negative impact on decision making and emotional well-being, carry more significant weight. To foster a healthier and more empowering environment for our youth, it is imperative to address and mitigate the adverse effects of peer pressure. See, in the conclusion, you have actually re-emphasized your, your viewpoint that the disadvantages outweigh the advantages. And then you have included a call to action that to foster a healthier and more empowering environment for our youth, it is imperative to address and mitigate the adverse effects of peer pressure. That is exactly a very important way to conclude an essay of this nature. Now, let's take a holistic look at a sample essay. And don't forget that the essay prompt which is a real past Ielts question, is as follows. Young people are often influenced in their behaviors by others in the same age group. Some argue that peer pressure is important, while others feel it has disadvantages. Do the disadvantages of peer pressure outweigh the advantages? This is the writing prompt. Now, this is our sample essay. In today's rapidly changing world, young people often find themselves influenced by peer pressures. The impact of peer pressure is a topic of significant debate. While some argue that peer pressure plays a crucial role in shaping the behavior of the youth, others maintain that it brings more disadvantages than advantages. This essay aims to explore both sides of the argument, ultimately determining whether the disadvantages of peer pressure outweigh its advantages. Peer pressure can have its advantages. Firstly, it often plays a crucial role in fostering positive social bonds. Young people are naturally drawn to their peers, seeking acceptance and validation from their age group. This desire for approval can lead to stronger friendships and a sense of belonging. Moreover, peer pressure can encourage personal growth and exploration. It pushes individuals to step out of their comfort zones and try new experiences, which can be pivotal in shaping their identities and interests. Conversely, or on the contrary, the disadvantages of peer pressure should not be overlooked. One of the most significant drawbacks is its negative influence on decision making. Young people under the sway of their peers might make choices that they would not have otherwise, often succumbing to unhealthy habits or risky behavior. For instance, uh, some research conducted recently indicates that adolescents who experience strong peer pressure are more likely to engage in substance abuse even when they know the associated risks. In conclusion, peer pressure as a phenomenon influencing young people has its advantages, including the formation of social bonds and personal growth. However, the disadvantages, notably the negative impacts on decision making and emotional well-being, carry more significant weight. To foster a healthier and more empowering environment for our youth, it is imperative to address and mitigate the adverse effects of peer pressure. So that actually is the way to, bring such an essay to a very, very impressive end. Now, uh, that's it for our lesson on writing a great Ielts essay. Remember to understand the prompt, create a clear thesis statement, develop a structured argument, use evidence and examples, address counter arguments. Of course, you saw how we did it, and conclude strongly. Practice these tips and you will be able you will be well on your way to crafting compelling essays for your Ielts exam. Of course, the more you practice, the more you'll be able to write very, very compelling Ielts essays, and then you'll be able to score high in your Ielts test. See you in the next class. Many thanks for watching today's video. A big thank you to all of you out there for being part of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly subscribe to this channel. Subscribe now as a way of giving us support. For notification about new videos, click on the bell icon. You will find the bell icon. Click click on it so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you will be instantly notified. If you have actually enjoyed the video, like and share the video with your friends and relatives. This is very important. If you have any comments, leave your comments below. Any questions, any suggestions, we would gladly receive them and respond promptly and positively to them. See you in the next video. I look forward to always seeing you.